What's up, guys? How you all doing? A minute ago I had the phone around the opposite way, so the camera was on the right hand side, and I never ever do it that way around. And I started about 30 seconds into the video and I was like, I just can't do this, I've got to change it back. I'm so OCD, it's unbelievable. Which is kind of linked actually to today's subject, the topic of today, and that is going to be depression. Now, I'm not going to sit on it here and harp on about how much I miss Robin Williams and all that kind of stuff, because it kind of makes me feel a bit sick about the amount of people that jump on the bandwagon when someone dies like that, like they were their best friend or something. Yeah, it's definitely a tragedy, and the guy was definitely very talented, and it's definitely very sad. But Jesus Christ, some of the stuff that I see on social networks, you'd think these people were like his son or daughter or father or sister or brother. It's unbelievable. But anyway, the reason I am doing it is because off of the back of that situation, I've had a whole bunch of messages, and I'm not talking one or two, I'm talking between 8 and 10, maybe even more than that, of people messaging me saying, I think I suffer from depression, or I have been diagnosed with depression, or I'm on antidepressants. What are your thoughts? What should I do? Have you got any advice, etc, etc. Now, I'm not quite sure why people are asking me for advice about stuff like that, because obviously I'm not a doctor or a psychologist or anything like that. I'm just a normal kind of everyday person, just like you. But at the same time, I do feel obliged to answer, because it is a subject that can be so significant in people's lives, especially the thing that would concern me would be young people. Yeah, you know, older people, I feel like you're kind of you're prepared to sort of deal with stuff like that, you know, but younger people definitely aren't, and they're the people that would concern me the most around this particular subject. So let me tell you my thoughts on it. Now, first of all, obviously this is just my opinion, and you know, I'm going to be talking a whole bunch of shit as far as, you know, as far as a lot of you will be concerned, but I'm going to say it anyway purely because of what I've just said. If it helps someone, then you know, so be it. And so many people have asked me, but anyway, I'm mumbling. Onto that subject to start with. I am someone who suffered from not depression, but I don't know what you'd call it, a psychological disease or disorder or illness, I don't know, in the fact that I've suffered from panic attacks. Now, those of you that have watched the channel for a long time, and in fact those of you that haven't, you can do a search on this channel for panic attack and you will find my video around it. And I did that a few years ago, just to, again, because, you know, I felt like I needed to kind of put it out there, basically. And that was quite an intense video for me to do, if I'm honest. It was quite difficult to do, but and it was quite exposed. What's the word? It exposed me quite a lot, I guess. I can't think of the word. But anyway, if you want to look at that, then check that out. So I do have the beginnings of an understanding of what a mental illness or psychological illness, I don't know how you'd even call it, can affect you. And it totally ruined, well, it didn't ruin my life, but it fucked with my life for a long, long time, many, many years. Luckily now, touch wood, if I can find any, where is some wood? There, the base of my Mac Pro stand. That's just something we do in England. If you want to know why I did that, Google it, because I can't be bothered to explain. Yeah, so I haven't, touch wood, fucking hell, got to do it again, suffered from them in a long, long time. I've kind of got them under control now for the last few years, but I kid you not, they really did fuck with me for the longest period of time, and to the point where I used to go and sit outside hospitals because I thought I was going to die, and spend the night in my car and stuff like that. So I feel I do have a little bit of an insight into it, having experienced it myself. But I also think there's a whole bunch of people that use these kind of things as an excuse. You know, much like obesity, there is a whole bunch of people out there who definitely have a fucked up gene, and that gene or that chromosome or whatever the fuck it is causes them to put on loads of weight regardless of how they live their lives. There's definitely out there. I personally think it's a very tiny amount compared to the number of obese people that we have, but it definitely does exist. And I feel like some people use that as an excuse to be obese, in the same way that I feel like a lot of people use depression as an excuse to kind of be down and miserable and have no enthusiasm and no get up and go, and use it as a way out, basically. Now, in terms of depression, the ratio of whether, you know, people who've genuinely got some kind of disease, if that even exists, this is another thing. I know I'm jumping around a bit here, but I did suffer from panic attacks. But do they really exist? Is it really because of this lack of melatonin or whatever it is on the brain? No one's actually got any evidence towards that whatsoever. It could just be that I'm a weak ass motherfucker and I was just a pussy. You know, you don't know, do you? I don't know. I don't know the genuine kind of medical reasons around this. And it's the same for depression. I don't think there's any real clinical scientific evidence outside of sort of studies and surveys that proves that that it is a medical condition, if you like. But at the same time, I know people that have genuinely been what I would call in a depressed state, and not just because of something stupid, but just because they literally can't drag themselves out of it. And taking antidepressants has definitely helped them. I've listened to a couple of doctors on the Joe Rogan podcast who have actually taken it themselves, and it's improved their lives. So I don't dismiss it, but I do feel like a lot of people use it as an excuse. I actually know quite a few people that are on antidepressants right now, and I would say that at least 90% of those people are just using it as an excuse, and they need to just pull their shit together and drag their asses out of it and stop being pathetic, I think. That's my own take on a whole bunch of people that I particularly know, and they'll probably watch this and they'll know that I'm talking about them because I've already told them that that's what I think. And I also know a couple of people who are genuinely what I would consider kind of clinically depressed. They are just in that state, they can't drag themselves out of it, they've got no hope of doing it whatsoever, and they definitely need some kind of help, and they are hopefully getting that help. I also know people who are clinically diagnosed with bipolar and other things as well, so who are quite close to me. So I kind of have been exposed to all this stuff quite a lot. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've just waffled a load of shit really, but these are kind of my sort of baffled thoughts around it, like my brain dump to you guys, if you like. I would say if you think that you're suffering from depression, I would try and have a serious think about it to yourself, because I personally find it very difficult. I mean, this Robin Williams thing, I mean, he's had a history, hasn't he, with drugs and whatnot, and I would say the depression comes probably off the back of that. I think if you're not fucking with drugs and you're depressed, then you've really got to look at what it is that you're exactly depressed about. And if it's nothing and you're just depressed for no reason whatsoever, then maybe that will help you to pull yourself out of it, or maybe that does mean that you're kind of clinically diagnosed with depression or whatever. I don't know. Like I say, I'm by no means any kind of expert on this, so I genuinely kind of can't give you any good advice. I would just say, you know, have a I don't know. I don't even know, actually. Thinking about it even more, I don't even know what to say. It's kind of it's a kind of a difficult one, really, because if it is a genuine disease and it's kind of physiological or whatever, then you obviously need some kind of drug to address that. Does everyone fall into that bracket? I don't think so. I think some people have got the strength inside them to drag themselves out of it. They just choose not to, or it's easier not to. And I do feel like having a label for it is sometimes a kind of an excuse and an easy get out for maybe you're in a bad situation, you've got to drag yourself out of it and you don't have the strength, or you don't feel like you've got the strength. And we've all been in those situations. You know, I've been in some tragic, real shitty situations where I could have just crawled into a corner and died and never come out again. But, you know, that is down to whatever, that you kind of drag yourself out of that. I like to think it's kind of strength of character, but then, you know, people who are experts in depression would say, well, that's bollocks. Strength of character doesn't help you if you're clinically diagnosed with depression, because it's a disease, it's an imbalance in the brain or whatever, and you've got absolutely zero hope of getting out of it, however strong you are. So, yeah, I mean, haven't got the best advice, unfortunately, on this one to give to people, other than seek medical attention, and go and talk to your doctor, go and talk to your parents, go and talk to your family, you know, talk to people online. Try not to Google too much, because that, when you Google stuff, God, it comes back with some horrific information. and a lot of it is not relevant. So definitely talk to professionals. There are free services out there as well. When I had panic attacks, I used to go and talk to the what were they called? God, it's totally gone out of my brain now. It was like a free service. Oh man, that is so annoying. The Samaritans, the Good Samaritans. So yeah, there's probably that kind of stuff around as well. But anyway, I've talked definitely enough. 10 minutes I've talked shit for. I don't know if that's any relevant information whatsoever, but so many people did ask for it that I felt like I had to kind of come through. So yeah, anyway, that's it guys. Bit of a shitty subject today. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I will see you all in tomorrow's video. Peace.